Hey folks, welcome. This is 108 Stitches, which is a mostly, okay. I could restart, but I'm just gonna keep going. So that was my dog Norman, who returning viewers may remember. He started out with us and then hopped down and smacked the tripods. We had a little wiggle there, and now he's just sitting and looking at me. I don't know if it's since it's been a few weeks, he doesn't remember how this works, but yeah, this is 108 Stitches, which is a mostly knitting video podcast where I talk to you about, again, mostly my knitting, sometimes some other crafting stuff that I am up to, but generally that's what we're here to talk about. And my name is Emily, and I live in Seattle, Washington with my husband, Memphis, and our pup, Norman, and I am so happy to be back. If you all watched my last episode, you'll remember that I spent the last roughly 3 weeks, a little over 3 weeks in Arizona for work, and I'm so happy to be back, and I have a lot of news to share with you all today. So I've got some knitting stuff, but again, since I was traveling and I was working in Arizona for the last few weeks, I have less on the knitting content, but I have some big updates. I've shared some about them on Instagram and other places, but I'm going to go into a lot more detail here about transitions that are happening and some really exciting new stuff. We have a pattern release this week, so there's a lot of exciting stuff ahead, and I can't wait to talk to you guys about it. But I know in the past I've sometimes done some like little chatty intros, and then I'll get into the knitting a little bit later, and I think it's gonna work out best if I just go ahead and I start with the knitting, and then I'll just chat the whole last half, and we'll talk about all kinds of things and about what's happening for me, and yeah, we'll just get into it. So first off is the knitting stuff. Thank you again so much for joining. Oh, I normally say what day it is, and today is a Monday, and it is April 4th. Tomorrow is my papa's birthday, and it is about around 2 in the afternoon, and I'm not sure if this episode will go up today or tomorrow, but we'll see. It'll be around April 4th, and I believe this is episode 38. 38, wow. Okay, so let's start with what I'm wearing, because I often forget that. Or also, you know, what knits are in frame. So today I am wearing my Plover cardigan, which is a pattern by Jacqueline Cieslak. And I knit this out of Grenouille. Did I say it better that time? We'll see. I knit this out of Grenouille in her 85-15 fingering weight sock base, which is 85% merino and 15% nylon. Norman, you want to come back? Come here. Come here. Oh my goodness. Yes. Come be with us. Yes. Oh. You want to stay with us for a little bit? Kisses? Thank you. I knit this sweater. Norman, sit. Oh, yes. Okay. I knit this sweater out of, yes, like I was saying, the fingering weight 85-15 base, which is merino nylon in the colorway Knocked Music, which is this beautiful dark green, blue, teal kind of color. The buttons are actually from a trip that I took with my family to Hawaii. We went to a yarn store there, and I got these beautiful coconut buttons. Okay, you want to be covered. Sit. Sit. Yes. Okay. There you go. There you go. So I got these beautiful coconut. He is too antsy right now. What do you need? What do you need? There you go. I'm sorry. This is chaotic already. Yes, I got these coconut buttons from Hawaii, and I love them. And very nice, like kind of wood-looking buttons. And I don't remember what size I knit. I don't remember what needle I used. I knit this last year, and I did modify the button band that goes like all the way around the sweater. I did twisted rib instead of just stockinette. was a primary difference or modification that I made. And I don't wear this sweater a ton, but I don't know, I felt like today was a good day for it. I wanted to wear this shirt that says "Have a nice day" that I bought at Macy's in Arizona. It was on sale for like $4.50. It's like, I do want you to have a nice day, so I will buy that shirt. So that's what I'm wearing. What I've been working on, I don't have any finished objects. I was hoping, I've been on like a good roll and I've been posting monthly like what I'd finished that month, and I was hoping maybe I could finish a couple things in March, and I just couldn't. I mean, it was just too busy and stressful with work and everything, and so I didn't finish anything, but I got close, and so April hopefully we'll have lots and lots of finished things. So what I've been working on, first let's just hop into some exciting news. So I shared about this on Instagram, but we have a release date for the Almost Argyle Socks, which is, oh, I should have grabbed the original sample. Oh, it may be here. Let me see, actually. No. Where? Okay, one second. I need to grab it so I can show you guys better. Okay. I'm back, and this is good because I'm not wearing socks right now, so I'll put these on after I show you. But we have a release date for the Almost Argyle Socks, and that is this Friday, April 8th. So this is a pattern that I designed and tested, and I'm so excited to share with you all. And you guys have been so kind about it. People saying they want to knit it, and the number of you that applied to test and everything has just been really, really fun, and I can't wait for this pattern to be released. So a reminder of what it looks like. It's one stitch cables that make this beautiful diamond kind of Argyle style pattern. The yarn that I used originally in the sample is Sunday Fiber Co. in her Barefoot Organic Merino sock base, and she has some beautiful sock sets, and I'm so excited to share with you all that there are going to be sock sets in this exact colorway available on Friday for the release of the pattern. So if you want to knit matching socks with me, you absolutely can, and you can grab the yarn from Elise, who is just lovely, and I hope that you all do, and go check out her update and then knit the Almost Argyle socks. So the main color here is Stardust, and the blue is Mermaid. Very fun. And this original sample, so the pattern has two sizes written into it, a 60 stitch size and a 72 stitch size. And this is the smaller size that I knit for myself. And then my work in progress that I have here, I am working on a pair for my husband. So this is the 72 stitch size. And I don't know if you guys can see it super well. I haven't done a ton on it. I took it with me in my travels and then just didn't have a ton of time. So there it is. This yarn is Explorer Knits Denali sock in the colorway Nightfall, which, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. I love it. Norman, what is going on, bug? What's happening? Unbelievable. He's just having a day. Okay, let me toss you your blanket here. There you go. Yes, so this is Nightfall, which is pretty similar to this one, but I would say a little less moody, kind of more blue, less green. Nightfall. And yep, I cast this on shortly before I left, and then I have only knit a little bit there. And that is the Almost Argyle sock, which is a pattern by me, myself. And again, a reminder, it will be available on Ravelry on Friday. I'm hoping to have my patterns available on another website outside of Ravelry in the future. I know Ravelry may still not be 100% accessible for everyone, and I am so sorry about that. And if you have any issues with Ravelry, please contact me. You can either send me a message on Instagram, or you can send me an email. I think you can get my email through Instagram as well, or whatever. But if you want the pattern and if you can't go through Ravelry, please just try to contact me and I'll help you set that up. And then hopefully in the future, I'll have my patterns available elsewhere. So yeah, I could not be more excited about this pattern release. So it was just really fun. And I feel like the pattern just came really naturally and was just, yeah, a fun knit. And I hope that you guys have fun knitting it as well if you want to. So that is my first work in progress. And then my second work in progress is here. It is the Cumulus blouse, which is a pattern by Petite Knit. And I cast this on also like shortly before I went to Arizona, and I worked on this one quite a bit more, just like knitting in the evenings and stuff, or like on the plane. I knit quite a bit on this on both of my flights. And so I've made much more progress on it. And this is using Explorer knits as well. So I guess all my works in progress right now are Explorer knits. I only have two, but Explorer knits, this is her Suri alpaca base, which is a Suri and silk blend. I think it's roughly 75-25 Suri alpaca and silk. It is a, I mean, I think it's between like a lace and fingering weight. And for this sweater, it is held double. So I have two skeins of it wound up that I am holding together. And started at the top, it kind of started split, and then you combine here for the neck, and then it's just like, you know, it's a raglan. Split for the sleeves, do the rest of the body. It has this nice little I-cord edging on the bottom, which was really fun. And then also on the end of the sleeve, it has the I-cord edging as well. This colorway, did I say this colorway is linen? And I'm knitting the smallest size. I think I roughly got gauge, but I did have to go one needle size down to get gauge. So I think the pattern calls for a US size 7, and I'm using a US size 6. Is that true? This is a 6, and I think the pattern called for a 7. So yeah, and I think I roughly have gauge. Don't remember how much ease this gives me. It should give me some positive ease, I think, in the range of like 4 to 6 inches, but I'm not exactly sure. And this isn't, you know, blocked or anything. This is just knit. So yeah, I picked up the stitches for the second sleeve today. I was just this morning, I was working on it. And it'll go really fast. I think like if I really focused, I think I could finish this sleeve in the next day or two. I was kind of hoping I could finish this by Thursday. I'll talk about what's happening Thursday a little bit later. But I was hoping I could finish it by Thursday. I don't know if I will. I don't think I'll be able to block it by Thursday unless it dries really fast. But all I have left is just the sleeve, and then I have to go around and do the I-cord bind off around the neckline as well, so that it matches the bottom and the sleeves. So I'm hoping that I'll have enough yarn. I think I will. I maybe should have made the sleeves a little shorter. Right now they're kind of bracelet length-ish. So hopefully that's not a problem. And I already made the body shorter than the pattern called for, because I don't like a long body. I feel like petite knit patterns also tend to have like super long bodies. That's another thing. I talked about this a while ago when I finished my September sweater, which I knit out of that red woolberry yarn. I don't know if you'll remember. I could go grab it. But the body is super long, and it's just with the brioche stitch, it's like stretched. And I think I'm going to go back and I'm going to rip out the bottom and make it shorter, because I think I will enjoy wearing it a lot more if I do that. So that's the plan. But yeah, this one's going pretty well, and I didn't finish it, and I didn't finish this by the end of March, and I'm okay with that. And I'm just gonna move forward and hopefully finish this in the next couple of days, and the sock will just be good, kind of like knitting on the go. I'll probably work on it some on Friday as part of, you know, like a release day thing, like feeling emotional about it and wanting to knit on the sock. So I'll probably do that. And yeah, that's what I've been working on knitting wise. So not a lot there, not a lot, but a little bit of work. I mean, I made a lot of progress on the sweater, I feel like, but unfortunately, yeah, I didn't have a ton of knitting time in the last few weeks. So yeah, next up, I wanted to talk about some acquisitions. I do have a couple acquisitions to share. Oh, I said everything in the frame, and then I forgot to talk about this. My shawl. I didn't really wear this today. I just had it on the couch, but then I was like, oh no, people are going to ask me what this is. This is the Brioche-licious shawl by Andrea Mowry, and I knit it using Pearl Soho linen quill in the colorways. The main color is honey pink, and then I used turmeric yellow at the top. This one is chestnut red, and then the bottom one is vintage celadon. And I love this shawl. This is the one I grab all the time now. I almost never wear a different shawl. I love the way that the fabric feels. I love the colors. It feels very me. It feels bright and happy. And this is, yeah, this is my go-to shawl now. So it's almost always out on the couch or hanging by the door or on my body. So that is my Brioche-licious shawl. Okay. Why does it feel chaotic? Like it doesn't have to. I don't know why I'm like, maybe it's because I'm out of practice. It has been like a month since I've done this, so slow down a little bit. I'm so happy to be here doing this again. I'm so happy to be back to Seattle. I'm so happy about the pattern release. I'm so happy and excited about stuff that's to come. I feel like I keep like, you know, taunting you all with this news, and most of you probably by now know what it is. I've done sneak peeks on Instagram. I actually shared openly some stuff about it. On, where's my yarn? Sorry, it's underneath the table here. But I've been sharing some about it, so may not come as a huge surprise, but let's do acquisitions first, and then we'll talk. We will talk about what has been up with me. So, like I said, I went to Arizona for work, and I did take a little day trip. The first Saturday or Sunday that I was there, I went to Tempe, and I went to the Tempe yarn store there. I think it's just called Tempe Yarn, or is it Tempe? Tempe? I don't know. I should know. I do not. But I went there, and it was a pretty large store, and they had a pretty wide variety of yarn. They had some indie dyed yarn. They had a lot of more kind of like commercial type yarn as well. And I found some beautiful yarn that was local to Arizona. The dyer is Less Traveled Yarn. And this is part of their creosote collection. And that is actually, I looked it up, and it's a type of bush that's like native to Arizona. I think we may have actually seen some when we were there. Okay, I don't know if it will focus on the yarn. I really want you guys to be able to see the speckles here. So maybe I'll try to get it to go a little better. There we go. So it has really, really light speckling, which I love. It has like these blue and dark red speckles on it. And the colorway is Jade. And I got two. These were the only two skeins they had. I maybe would have gotten three if they had three. But it is the 75-25 fingering weight base. It is, yeah, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and it's just like kind of a standard sock base. I got two skeins of it. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to make with it, but I think it's beautiful. I really like this color, and so I grabbed some. And how cool that it was local to the area that I was in. I really enjoyed that. So that is my first acquisition. And then my next acquisition, I had ordered a while ago some yarn from Mel's last update, Big Little Yarn Co., her last update before going on maternity leave. So really exciting for Mel, just an incredibly great person, and just wish her the happiest congratulations on her son. But she had one final update before going to maternity leave, and I had to grab some Yume. So I don't know if you all remember, this yarn was part of a set that Mel and I put together for the Stripy Turtle tank. And I just love this color so much, and I decided I need a whole sweater quantity of it. So I got 3 skeins of Yume, which means, I believe, like dream, or like dreamy in Japanese. And you definitely see that in the yarn. It is gorgeous. It's just so dreamy and beautiful. And so I got 3 skeins of this, and my hope is to hold it together with a cream colored Suri or mohair to make a just beautiful, dreamy sweater. And I think it'll just be beautiful. So this yarn is lovely. Mel is lovely. You should, if you have not already, you should definitely check out Big Little Yarn Co. She also has a like vlog style podcast that she's been doing, which I love watching. It's just so much fun. So you should definitely check that out as well if you're interested in that. And she also threw in this other mini in my order, which is just really fun colors. I don't know if it'll focus. It may not. It's like red, blue, yeah. I mean, every color. It's beautiful. Beep, beep, beep. Please focus. Nope. Won't happen. I don't know how to do the hand thing. You'll know I'm not like actually official. I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. There it is. So beautiful little mini that Mel sent along with my order as well. So those are my acquisitions. Okay, let's focus on me here. There we go. Okay, so those are my acquisitions. Oh, I was going to talk about another thing, just a plan I have. I think I talked about this last time. I have this yarn wound up, and I took it with me to Arizona because I was being really ambitious. I was like, what if I finish my sweater and I want to cast on another one? It's like, Emily, you're not going to knit a whole sweater while you're traveling for work for 3 weeks. That's just not reasonable. But I did wind up this yarn. This is Sport Weight from Autumn and Indigo, and the colorway is Loma. And I've been really into mustard. I don't know, like I love yellow. Yellow is my favorite color. I actually haven't knit a ton with mustard or with yellow. I have some in other projects, but I don't have a ton of just like yellow garments or whatever. But I have 4 skeins of this, and I'm planning to make the birch pullover by Andrea Mowry, although not exactly the birch pullover. I have to do we did some math, myself and my knitting group, to figure out how to make the sizing work with the gauge that I wanted. So, but anyway, this may be my next cast on, maybe the one after that. But I think Andrea Mowry is doing her sweater knit along right now, so I'd love to participate in that as well. So hopefully this will be up soon for that. Okay, so I have some news. And I did share about this a little bit on Instagram, some parts of it, and so I just wanted to go through it a little bit more and share with you all what has been up. But I am leaving, or I guess I have already left now, my job with the Mariners. If you didn't know, I was working, I like to say just like as a baseball analyst, because I think that term is more common and kind of roughly describes what I was doing with the Mariners. My actual title was coordinator of baseball projects, but what I did there was very much kind of like using data, information, math, modeling, technology, coding to try to make the Mariners better. So I transitioned over my time into more kind of like communication-based tool building and like report building, to try to make a lot of our data and information really accessible throughout the organization. And that was something I really loved. And I actually shared a couple weeks ago, or not even weeks, I guess now it was like maybe a couple months ago, I had shared pretty recently about my path to working in baseball and like how that had really been my dream. And it absolutely was. It absolutely was. And that's why it was such a tough decision to leave the Mariners. And I just wanted to talk a little bit, because I think people don't talk often about a lot of the difficulties, I guess. Not necessarily just of working in baseball, but just like generally, I think it's easy to go straight to like the exciting stuff and the new adventure and the positivity and stuff. And I just wanted to take a second here and talk about, there was so much that I loved about my job. The people I worked with were truly just unbelievable. I really, really enjoyed the relationships I built there, and the people that I worked with. They were some of the most like talented and dedicated people. And so that was really, really fun. And a lot about the job was really a dream. Just like a lot of the stuff that I got to do was so much fun. But it was a lot of work. My work-life balance a lot of the time wasn't what I wanted it to be. And there were some difficulties associated with just working in baseball. I mean, it was an extremely, of course, like male-dominated industry. I think sports generally tend to be like very male-dominated. Oh my gosh, sorry. I think it just started hailing outside. Yeah, it's definitely hailing. Okay, sorry, I was really taken aback by that. I did not mean to interrupt what was kind of a serious and emotional conversation here with hail outside. But yeah, I think there are some difficulties associated with working in baseball, you know, it being a male-dominated industry. There's also just like a lot of expectation and pressure, and you know, that everyone there is going so far above and beyond that it like eclipses the rest of their life. You know, that if you work in baseball, like that is your life. I mean, that's who you are. Your identity is like, you know, this thing, and that you're completely, you know, devoted to it. And I think I was like really passionate about this job, and I did love being surrounded by people who were so like dedicated and passionate and everything. And I think when it became a little bit difficult for me, and when I realized that this wasn't something I wanted to do forever, it's just like checking in with myself and reflecting on what my priorities were. And if you asked me, like, is the most important thing in your life your job? Sorry if you can hear the hail hitting the window. I would have said no. Like, my job isn't the most important thing in my life. You know, my family is more important to me, and the time that I spend with my husband. And I think that's when I realized, like, okay, my actions, my relationship with my job is, you know, taking over things that were important to me in the rest of my life. I wasn't getting to see my family as much as I wanted to. I wasn't getting to travel as much as I wanted to. I was working way more hours than I wanted to, and, you know, on the weekends or in times that I didn't want to be working. And even though there was a lot about it that I loved, there was, yeah, that part of it, just like when I reflected, it didn't align with my priorities. It didn't align with what I wanted my life to look like. And I also, just like being completely honest with you all here, like I had a lot of stress and anxiety associated with my job, just like a lot of the work, a lot of the pressure, and a lot of just like being a part of something that was at times like a little bit gross. I don't want to say like the Mariners specifically, but just like the baseball industry as a whole. Like, you guys know, there have been a lot of issues in the baseball industry related to, you know, the treatment of women, you know, whether that be other MLB front office employees, executives, saying or doing things that were really disrespectful to women or the players themselves. It makes it really tough to be one of the only women that works in an environment like this. And so I had nothing, you know, nearly to the same extent as like those stories that go super public, but had times that it was like very isolating to me, and it was difficult. And so that, along with just your general like working a ton, not having great work-life balance, and I'm in general like a very anxious person, and I try to talk about this as openly as I can. It's hard sometimes, but I am generally like a very anxious person. And so I was having some pretty severe side effects to anxiety that were affecting, you know, my mental health and even my physical health at times as well. Just, you know, in pushing myself too hard and being in a situation that made me so anxious and uncomfortable at times. And again, I want to make so clear that like the people that I worked with, the Mariners, this is not any indication that they did anything disrespectful to me or anything like that. But I realized that it was just like, it was time for me to prioritize the things that I was, you know, thinking and saying were important to me. And that means, yeah, my life outside of my work, and making sure that I was taking care of myself and doing the best thing that, you know, that I could for myself and for my family and everything. So I decided that it was time to leave. A while ago, I'd been thinking about this for a while, about whether it was the right thing for me to stay with the Mariners or not. And one of the hardest things about leaving was not knowing what I would do next. I didn't know where to fit, and it's hard too. Like, I have a lot of self-confidence and other issues, and it was hard for me to like rationalize this super well, but I do think I was like good at my job, and it's hard to leave something when you feel like, you know, you're doing really well and advancing well and having an impact. And so that was hard too. And so not knowing, okay, like if I leave this, I'm leaving this thing that was my dream, that I feel like I'm excelling at. Where am I going to go next? Like, what could I leave that for? And truly, like, at the same time that I was having those thoughts and that those conversations, I was thinking like, man, I'm really feeling drawn to my creativity, my knitting, my designing, just everything in this space, like producing the podcast was really kind of drawing me in. And I was spending so much of my time outside of work knitting, doing this podcast, writing patterns, almost every free second I have, I was trying to give to this like hobby, this craft that I love so much. And I wasn't able to do things outside of my work and knitting and crafting because I felt so desperately that like every second I had, I wanted to give to it. And I think that's when I really realized like, okay, I need more time for this. I need more time for designing, for knitting, for producing the podcast, for, you know, everything that is kind of associated with that. And so once I kind of started to think about that more, luckily there was a really incredible opportunity. So Jess of Mercerie, I don't know if you all are familiar. If you're not, you absolutely should check her out. She has a website and a really beautiful Instagram page that you can go and see. I'll include her information below. Her Instagram handle is shop.Mercerie, and she just opened a physical store in Poulsbo, Washington. And I talked about this a little bit in my last episode because we went to the store opening. But she opened a physical location, and so while she was still in the planning stages of that, I was having some of this like internal conflict, and I decided to just kind of like go for it and reached out to her about potential like employment at the store. And she could not have been kinder. Truly is the best person. And I got to go to the store and meet her and talk to her about the opportunity. And immediately I just, like, I think I felt internally that this was right. Like, it just felt really right to me, seeing this store and talking to her. And so I decided to accept an opportunity to go work at the store. I couldn't be more excited about what that opportunity brings. I think more than just working at the store, like working with Jess is going to be an incredible opportunity for me. And she has already been so supportive of me. I haven't even started yet. I have my first day this Thursday. I can't wait. But has already been just like so encouraging and supportive of me. And I am so excited about how much I'm going to learn and grow with her. And at the store, I can't wait. And so I'll be at the store a couple days a week. And then a lot of the rest of my time, I'm going to get to spend giving all of my energy to my knitting and my designing. And and I'm going to get to see my family a lot more. And I'm going to get to travel with my husband a lot more. And I'm going to get to take care of myself a lot better than I was before. And so this is definitely a big move. And like, you know, to be upfront, like not the best, you know, like financial move for me or whatever, but I am so excited about what my life will look like, what my physical and mental health will look like. And yeah, I just couldn't be more excited. So I know that was super rambly. I wanted to talk a little bit about just kind of the reasoning behind it. And I think one of my friends, when I was talking to her about it, said something just like really beautiful that I kind of the time that I spent with the Mariners was still so meaningful because I just kind of closed the chapter on one dream, and now I get to open a new chapter with a new dream. And I don't regret doing it. Like, I don't regret my time with the Mariners at all. Not even a little bit do I regret it. I'm so glad that I did that. It was absolutely my dream when I was a kid to work in baseball and and just to have that be my job every day. And I did it for almost 4 years, which is crazy to me that I was there for that long. And I loved it a lot of the time. And I'm really glad that I did it. And I met some of the best people that I will absolutely still be friends with and be in contact with. And I'm also so excited to just be a baseball fan. I'm going to be a Mariners fan absolutely for the rest of my life. I cannot wait for the season. It's going to be so much fun. And yeah, I already have tickets. I'm planning to go to opening day in Seattle, which is April 15th. And I can't wait. I can't wait to be a baseball fan. I can't wait for what's to come with La Mercerie and with my designing. And so definitely stay tuned. The podcast is definitely going to be more regular now. My plan is, if I knit enough, which I think I probably will, my plan is to do the podcast weekly. So hopefully I'll be recording every Monday. And you all will get to hear from me. Hopefully this is a good news for you all, but you'll get to hear from me much more frequently than you have. And yeah, I feel like I'm probably missing something, but I'm just so excited about it. It was a tough decision to make, but I just can feel that it's the right thing. I can feel that it's the right thing for me. So I'm really excited. I hope you all are too. And yeah, I can't wait for what's to come. So I wanted to share that. That's the big life news. And then I've had some other stuff going on. I went to Arizona for 3 weeks. I talked a little bit about some stuff I did there, but let's just talk about other stuff that's been going on for me. And so if you're not interested in other, general life things, then that's fine. And I'll talk to you next time. But I'm going to go through what my time in Arizona was like and some other stuff we've been up to recently. So yeah, made the decision shortly before heading to Arizona. I made the decision and accepted the offer to work at La Mercerie. And so the whole time I was in Arizona, I'd actually already let my coworkers know, let my boss know and everything. And so everyone knew that I was going to be leaving. That was tough in some ways, like, having to think about that constantly and talk with people a lot. I had definitely a ton of really emotional conversations, but I think it was the right move just so that my team with the Mariners had as much time as possible to prepare for me leaving as they possibly could have. And it was important to me that I leave my team in a good spot. I didn't want to make things tough for them. So I did everything I could to make that transition as smoothly as I could. So I did end up going to Arizona early March. And shortly after I got there, the lockout broke. So you may have noticed I didn't really talk about baseball. I've been talking about baseball less for sure over the last, I don't even know, 6 months to a year. But I had pretty much just stopped talking about it at all because I couldn't really talk about it because nothing was happening. And I'm an MLB or a team employee. So wasn't talking a lot about baseball because of the lockout. So if you're unfamiliar, basically I'm not going to do a great job of explaining this, but I'll give you, just the basics. Each team has an owner. Each major league team has an owner, and those together are kind of represented by the entity of the MLB, which has a commissioner, and Rob Manfred is his name. And the MLB has to make an agreement on what the rules will be with the Players Association. So the players all have a union, or the major league players rather, have a union, and the Players Union or the Players Association and MLB, or the commissioner's office, which represents all of the owners of all the teams, have to agree on, they call it a collective bargaining agreement. They have to agree on all the rules and how many games will be played and salaries and how there's tons and tons of specific pieces involved in how to put on an MLB season. And they have to come to an agreement. and that they make an agreement for several years at a time. And that agreement had expired. The previous one expired this off season, and so it was time to make a new one. And the Players Association and the MLB kind of commissioner's office were not seeing super eye to eye on how they should proceed with the next CBA. And there was some conflict there. And so what ended up happening, and there are lots of different opinions about who did the right thing at what situation and who, which side was asking for too much or whatever. And honestly, I don't have enough information to even tell you like what the right answer is there. But basically what ended up happening is to kind of avoid a strike, and also for kind of perception reasons or whatever else, the MLB, the teams, the commissioner's office decided to institute what's called a lockout, which means that we kind of like broke all communication with players for some time, and basically had no kind of interaction with the players that were in the players union or in the players association until like an agreement was going to be reached. So kind of it's almost like a reverse strike. It's like the employer striked rather than the employee striked. If that striked, I don't know the right verb there. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, instead of the players striking and refusing to play games or whatever, the MLB did a lockout so that they kind of broke that communication, and that made it so that the players couldn't strike, and there wasn't going to be that whole thing happening as games were coming up, or the proposed schedule, whatever. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's basically what was happening. And so when I went to Arizona for spring training, none of the Major League players were there because the lockout was still happening. And so I still had plenty to do. A lot of the stuff that I work on is player development related, so it's more focused on our minor league players. And so I still had plenty of work to do there, but shortly after I got there, the lockout actually broke, which means that the commissioner's office, the MLB, and the players union, or the players association, made an agreement, and games were scheduled and everything got back on track. And so all the major league players came back. And so that meant that spring training games picked back up. That schedule had kind of been delayed. Those games had been canceled. So once the lockout broke, the games got back onto the schedule, and we scheduled the regular season games and everything as well. And so things kind of definitely picked up the pace after that. And luckily, my husband Nofis came down to visit me in Arizona for a weekend. And luckily, the game started like right as he arrived. So we got to go to a couple games together, spring training games together, and that was really fun. I had to work a little bit during some of the games while I was there as well. And just really enjoyed being able to see baseball again. That was really fun. Arizona was nice in that it was much warmer. Unfortunately, it's so dry there that I hated it. I don't know if maybe it's because I came from Seattle, where it's like pretty, I don't want to say moist because I know people hate that word, but it's moist here. Like there's a lot humid, not even humid. It's just like, it's wet. It's wet here. And so to go to Arizona, oh my gosh, my skin hated it. That is the best I've ever done with my skincare routine. I actually put on moisturizer twice a day, every day, and I put on sunscreen in the morning on my face. I barely even got sunburnt the whole 3 weeks I was there, and y'all see me, like, I get sunburnt all the time. It takes nothing for me to get sunburnt. I was reapplying every 2 hours when I was outside, and I'm so proud of myself. The only time I got sunburnt was just by my watch. I put sunscreen on and I didn't take my watch off, and then my watch had moved slightly and I got sunburnt where my watch was, where like I didn't have sunscreen on. So that was the only place I got sunburnt the whole time I was there, and it wasn't even that bad. But it was incredibly dry there, but otherwise, it was really nice and warm, no rain or anything. And then, Nofis came down. We got to see a couple games together. We also went to Saguaro National Park, which I'd never been to before. And that was really, really cool. We got to see a ton of massive cacti, and learned a ton about the saguaro cacti. And so that was a ton of fun. I talked about going to Tempe. I went to the Desert Botanical Garden when I was there as well, and that was beautiful. Oh my gosh, they had so many different types of cacti there. I learned so much about the history of the indigenous folks that were there, and how they used the cacti and all the different types of cacti. It was beautiful. It was so beautiful, and I took some beautiful pictures there and just had the best time there. I also got to meet up with another knitting friend named Emily, who also test knit the Almost Argyle Socks for me, who lives in Arizona, and we went to, I think it was called the Tempe Arts Festival. We went there together, and that was so much fun. Wow, they had so many booths. I've never seen so many booths, and there was some beautiful, beautiful art there, just all kinds. I mean, you know, pottery and just visual art, like paintings and, you know, basket weaving and, you know, screen printed t-shirts and jewelry and you know, like different types of oils and jams and soaps. And it was, wow, it was a lot. I mean, it was massive, but that was really cool. And so we got to do that. Let's see, what else? Yeah, my last time there, so I left Arizona last Wednesday, and my final day with the Mariners was last Friday. So when I was leaving Arizona, for the folks that weren't coming back to Seattle at roughly the same time as me, I had like my final work days with them there, and so I had some really great conversations with my coworkers on my last night there as well. We got together and like played some games and went out to dinner and just got to kind of reminisce and stuff, and so that was really fun. One of my coworkers got a cake and like a whole bunch of decorations, which was really, really sweet, and my coworkers sang "Happy New Job" to you to the tune of "Happy Birthday," which was really fun. And so that was definitely like a fun and emotional time that I really enjoyed. And yeah, then I came back on Wednesday. It was raining after I got off of, like, I took the train back to near my house, and I got out with my suitcase, and it was raining lightly, and I was just so happy. Like, normally I wouldn't welcome the rain like that, but it felt so good after how dry it was in Arizona. I was like really happy to have the rain. So that was fun to be back. And then after that, on Friday night, after my last day at work, also on Friday for my last day at work, I went to the Flower Box, which is a donut, like a bakery, near my house in Seattle. And oh my gosh. Okay, first of all, I had to wait in line. I got there at like 8:50, and they open at 10. And I was maybe the 15th or 20th person in line. And then they opened, I ended up getting to the front of the line at 10:15. So it was over an hour wait for me. Absolutely worth it. Definitely worth the wait. Easily the best donuts I've had in my life. Some of the best just like sweet treat food I've ever had in my life. So good. They're these brioche filled donuts. The flavor I had, I tried a lot of the other flavors because I got a dozen to take to work for my last day, but the one flavor I had when I was there was raspberry cream. So good. But they do some other really fun flavors. They had a carrot cheesecake flavor. They had London Fog, which was like tea flavored, a honeycomb flavored, honey lavender. Oh my gosh, it was so delicious. And they change their flavors every week, so they definitely have got me. Like, I'm gonna be back there for sure, periodically to get more donuts. But I went and did that, and then went and had a great final day in the office. Had to pick up all my stuff and got to have some more good conversations with my friends and my coworkers. And then Friday night, my grandparents came into town, so they flew in, and we had a great weekend together. They wanted to see the store that I was going to be working at. So on Saturday, we took the ferry over to Bainbridge, and we went to the store, and they got to meet Jess and everything, and that was just so much fun. And going back to the store again, I love the store. So we really enjoyed doing that. And then we just hung out on Bainbridge. We went to some art galleries and the museum on Bainbridge Island as well, which is so much fun. And then we took the ferry back, And we also had some great food this weekend. On Sunday morning, we made biscuits and gravy, which if you remember, I talked about a while ago, we made biscuits and gravy when my parents visited in February. And so we did that again when my grandparents were here, and that was yummy. We made sourdough pizza last night, which was really delicious. And then, yeah, on Sunday, we went to Volunteer Park Conservatory. They have like a greenhouse that's really beautiful. So we went and walked around there. We went to UW to see the cherry blossoms, which was beautiful. Oh my gosh. And then let's see. We also went to the UW Arboretum, which was beautiful. Yeah, I mean, really a great weekend. The weather was beautiful on Saturday. We had a little bit of rain on Sunday. It was pretty chilly, but I mean, not horrible. I feel like we got pretty lucky. So overall, we had a great weekend. And then my grandparents left this morning. And yeah, it's Monday. I'm not working because last Friday was my last day at my job. So I had been, just taking care of a ton of like chores and stuff in the house since I'd been gone for a while. And we had quite a bit to take care of today. So I took care of a lot of that. And then I was like, why don't I just go ahead and get into it, record my podcast, share with all of you what I've been up to and the big news and a little bit of what I've been knitting on. There's not a ton, but I had a little bit of that to share. So I'm glad I got to hop on today and give you guys an update. There's more to come. There's so much more exciting stuff to come. I can't wait. I can't wait to share it with you. You are likely to see a ton more designs from me. I already have some really exciting stuff in the works that I cannot wait. I can't wait to share with you. So that's coming up, and generally just thank you all. Like I just want to take a second to say that I never would have thought that this was an option for me to transition away from, my normal office job to doing this crafting that I love all the time. I didn't think that was even an option, the designing or the knitting and stuff. And the only reason I consider that really to be an option and I'm pursuing it now is because of like this community that you all are interested in what I have to say and in my patterns. And that is what really gave me the courage to make this move, like make this change. So I can't thank you enough for being here, for engaging with me. And I'm really, really excited for what's to come. And yeah, just thank you again. So I hope you do lots of knitting and watch lots of baseball and have a great week. I will be back hopefully next Monday. Bye.